All right, so I'm going to be doing a VOD review for Keatodiabeto. Um, I guess you mentioned that your primary issue is you're unsure if you should pretty much go just kind of do your own thing or, play frontline for your team. Um, Especially as Wrecking Ball, you really are kind of trolling if you frontline. Um, I think you probably know this, right? You have to play to your character's strengths for the most part. But obviously, sometimes it's easier said than done. This game in particular, I say I went ahead and watched it. Um, there are some things I can glean from it from your gameplay for sure, but I also think this game, it's so short, and I think the teams are kind of lopsided. I'd be interested to know exactly what rank this is, because I don't think either team looks particularly good. It seems like you unfortunately put in a lot of work, and that's just the reality of ranked. Sometimes your team will just be worse, or they just don't know how to play along with you, because you kind of, in my opinion, put yourself in a position where if your team was even slightly better and play their life a bit more, you could have done a lot better. Push the cart at least in this game. Unfortunately, this just doesn't happen, and that's just an unfortunate reality of ranked. Unless you're pretty much like hard smurfing some games. Like if you're just slightly better, some games will just be unwinnable. Because your team will just be worse and they don't know how to play with you or whatever. But the goal in improving is making as few mistakes as possible, right? And capitalizing on the enemy's mistakes as often as possible, which doesn't guarantee you'll win every game, but over time, it'll guarantee that you'll win more games than you'll lose, and eventually will rank up, right? So, uh, you know, in the interest of brevity, I'll focus mostly on what you're doing here. I went ahead, obviously, like I said, I watched the whole thing. Um, I think right now your issue is, I guess, uptime and efficiency. They kind of go hand in hand, and it's hard to glean much more because the review's so lopsided, right? Um, when I mean uptime, it's slight, but I notice you do waste quite a bit of time against like setting up against their comp when really you should be looking to go in as often as possible, right? Uh, like their comp can be dangerous if you get discorded and you get chased by the diva, right? So, but besides that, they don't really have a great way of killing you without like fair barrage or something, right? And efficiency is kind of related to that, and with your cooldowns, right? Um, this point will be easier to explain point by point in the replay, but you don't get full value out of your cooldowns, and you don't use them as often as you could, right? I'll point this out as the replay goes on.
Bad guys.
Okay, actually, one thing that I will mention, it doesn't really come up when you play Wrecking Ball, but for pretty much every tank, the way you beat, I guess the exceptions to this might be like Diva, you can easily chase Pharmacy, or like if the Pharmacy doesn't play super well, you can like hook him with Roadhog, and I guess maybe Malga can pressure them a bit. Most tanks really can't directly deal with Pharmacy. The way you beat Pharmacy is to just constantly harass the other support, to either just let them die because they get no heals, right? Or force the Mercy away from the Pharah so she's unsupported, right? Mercy can only heal one person at a time, and her range is kind of bad, right? So just distracting or diverting resources away from the Pharah is kind of how you allow your team to pressure her out, right? Because as most tanks, you just can't deal enough damage consistently enough from range to like actually kill the Pharah through the pocket or the Mercy through her movement, right? It's okay that you shoot her here, though. I mean, that's just a general thing, not necessarily here. Okay, so this is an efficiency thing. I know you're probably trying to bait him back to point, but there's no way. I don't know exactly what rank this is. Maybe diamondish or so, whatever. But like, there's no way you're gonna win against anyone that's not bronze by just rolling to point and doing nothing, right? You could be doing this exact same thing, but instead of just be sitting on point, just start shooting this Ash, right? It's not like the best thing you can do, but there's literally no reason to just sit here and do nothing and just hope they don't notice, I guess, is your goal here, but they're gonna notice, right? Um, Shooting the Ashe is free. She's not getting pocketed by the Mercy. You know they have a Mercy from earlier. And you can see the Zen shooting, right? So just shooting the Ashe, distracting her is one thing you could do. Honestly, ideally, one thing you could also do right now is probably just literally roll through their entire team, like through here, for example, set up here, roll through their entire team, do all this damage, right? Knock them all around, displace them so they're out of cover, right? So your team has an easier time shooting them, for example. Force the Mercy to continue pocketing Zen, the Pharaoh's isolated, and then just roll on point anywhere, like anyways, like right here, and start shooting the Ashe, right? Just like when your team is bad, you just need to go for like more plays, more like high value plays, right? Kind of the efficiency thing. There's more ways to get value here than what you're doing right now. See, there's like no reason not to be shooting here. You're in no danger of dying. The Zen didn't have LOS in you yet, and their D.Va is way far forward, right? There's no way you can like die here. If you can't die, you need to be constantly harassing the team as ball, right? This kind of goes back to the frontline thing. This D.Va can kind of sit frontline. I mean, she's getting pressured out now, but she could honestly hold there much more aggressively if you just sit on point and do nothing, right? This is okay. If Zen discords you and you can see the D.Vas flying back to you now, I'll be looking to get out, or at least not get all the way out, but you know, for example, roll here and get the mini or something, and then recommit some other time. You know, standing point. This is like the only way you die against their comp, is by overstaying your welcome and going through this. Because you do that, right? You waste your adaptive shields, and you can't stay in, right? Okay, this is good here. Okay, so you get the kill on their Ashe, right? But they trade out on your junk, right? The correct thing to do is keep pressing your advantage. I know it's even, but they have a Mercy, right? Mercy is... You don't want to give the Mercy res, so instead of sitting here, right? What if you literally just rolled right over here? Now you can shoot the Farah, the Mercy, and guard the res, or, you know, you could just quick swing around here, start pressuring the Zen, right? Do something so this Mercy can't res for free, right? Both those options, because this is kind of like, I know what's going to happen, right? You're just going to go back to choke, right? Both of these options either deny res and pressure their team more, or, you know, possibly allow the Mercy to res, but then the Farah doesn't have heals and allows you to kill the Zen anyways, right? So, kind of the efficiency thing again, right? No reason to just be sitting here. The fight's even, it's still winnable, right? You know, maybe you're waiting for heals, but you also have the Juno, right? Whatever her name is, Moira, can't heal you from range, but Juno can. You can sit over here, and the healing will take slightly long to get to you, but it doesn't make a difference. You're unkillable here regardless, and you force them not to be able to res, right? See, you're just kind of wasting time. Like, the fight's even. You're the tank. You can pretty much 1v1 anyone on their team except the D.Va, right? As long as you're in a position where you're unkillable. Yeah, you see, just kind of let them res here, right? There's no reason not to keep pressuring. I do like this rollout here. I'm not really a ball player, but I know generally how to play. This is a good slam, you know. These are good shields here, because you get so much. You see you kill the Zen, use your shields, and then you decide to run away for some reason. Why? You have 1,000 health, and they don't have Discord anymore. There's literally nothing that can kill you right now, unless you like hard troll, right? Just stay here and keep shooting the Mercy. Like, everyone's looking at you, right? Or if you really wanted to, you could roll through and shoot this Ashe, right? You have different options. You know, killing the Mercy would completely deprive them of heals, but killing the Ashe would more easily allow your team to push through the choke, right? I don't think either or is necessarily the wrong option, especially compared to just rolling away and wasting your adaptive shields. Because you kind of don't do anything, right? The Ashe gets a pick here, right? If you keep up the aggression and use those good shields you got, right? That Ashe wouldn't have been in a position to get a pick. Or if she got the pick, right, the Mercy would already be dead. Okay. Here, instead of going for the diva, because she's isolated against a sim and Wakiri, right? And I think your Juno should be somewhere near. Yeah, she's kind of far away for some reason. But whatever. This is probably not losable for your team, right? If they lose it, unfortunately, you're gonna like if they lose this favorable of like a matchup, right? Unfortunately, you're just gonna lose the game anyways. I would trust your team to deal with this and go stop the Zen from taking up an angle, right? You know he's coming back. One, if you just hold tab, right, you can see he's spawned, right? And just generally knowing from the timing, you killed him first, so he should be on his way back. Because the only way they win this is if the diva stalls long enough for their numbers to come back, so the DPS and the Zen to start getting picks again, right, to turn the fight. I don't think it's obviously the worst thing ever to kill the overextended tank, but generally speaking as ball, if you have a better opportunity, because you're so mobile, you want to take that better opportunity. You know, just you don't have to even kill the Zen necessarily, just preventing him from taking an angle just guarantees the diva dies anyways, right? Pretty much as tank, if you get denied tanks or support, they're just gonna die, right? If you just force out better resource trades, right? If you play safer, you can't generally kill tanks with damage alone. And because you see you weren't pressuring their backline, sure you demech the diva, but now the pharmacy's back and the Zen's back up, and they're set up in pretty like tough positions for your team to deal with, right? If instead of doing this, you just rolled out here, right? Earlier, I'll actually rewind a few seconds. If you rolled out here right now, you know, not literally, maybe it's set up here. You literally set up here, wait for the Zen to do this, slam, kill them. And then, you know, they're down both. The diva's still all alone, right? And now you can guard the res, right? Waste their time, and their diva's still going to get demeched anyways. Okay, just good slam. Here, because you can see the Mercy's flying towards you, there's no reason to drop. This is like a very split-second decision thing, but I saw that she was flying right towards you. Literally just stand here. If she's flying right, I guess where the Zen just died, right? So you'll do more damage if you just sit here and track her. I think you end up killing her anyways. Yeah, this Mercy doesn't seem too good. It's alright. No reason to waste shields here, right? I know you just killed 3, but the diva's still here, right? If you kept your shields, you could, you know, do the same thing I was talking about earlier. Just start harassing the backline as they walk in, or use it to fight the diva, right? And ideally, you'd be harassing the backline. Here, you know, you're already committed to shooting the diva. Follow the baby diva, right? You don't need to... It's a timing issue, but actually just grappling here, following her, knocking in here, you're still safe in here, right? It's actually closer than here, right? You can kill her before she mechs, or as she mechs, you know, just kind of boop in. Obviously, don't let her squish you. Boop in and minefield around her so she just instantly gets demeched again, right? Baby diva is very vulnerable, obviously, when she's not mechs. And you see, because you're not like following her, and you're not like harassing the backline, she just gets remeched for free. I feel like it's a good minefield. You know, you blow up the diva and you isolate the Pharah from the Mercy side. I mean, honestly, you know, you didn't play the diva part perfectly, but that was good enough. That's why I'm not really saying anything. So here, this is kind of what I was talking about, the cooldown efficiency thing, right? Why are you not slamming here? There's 3 people on your screen, right? You saw baby diva, like, yeah, like half a second before you start going down. Just slam here, right? You hit literally their entire team that's alive. And then that also allows you to track more easily, right? You don't necessarily have to kill the Zen right here, right now, because his heals are so low. You can kill the baby diva to stop her from remeching, right? Or, you know, it's not 100% necessary. You can still shoot this in here. You know, I don't think there's necessarily a wrong answer. I think baby diva's the highest priority because you don't want her to get remech. But you can still get away with doing anything as long as you slam here. There's quite literally no reason to slam here. No reason not to slam, right? A little unfortunate if your mechanics are a bit better here. You would have killed this then. It's risky to commit on him without shields and in a small area because he has the kick and it can mess up your aim, right? But if you slammed, I'm sure you can see, look how low health he is right now. If you slammed earlier, he wouldn't have this health and you could immediately just roll away, right? So you don't even get squished by the diva. Just getting more efficient in the kills you make is like super important, right? Because it avoids stuff like that. Just even half seconds, you know, split seconds of not being in the enemy's LOS. Split seconds of killing people sooner. 1, makes it so they are less likely to receive healing, and 2, it makes it so you take less damage. Right? All these things make a difference as you fly.
What's up?
Here, I wouldn't really worry about the Ashe. It's just a really awkward angle. Maybe I'm not really much of a ball player. Maybe you could grapple off this thing right here, swing up here. When I say I'm not much of a ball player, I don't know like all the rollouts and all the text and stuff. But obviously, you don't need all that stuff to climb. I haven't mentioned it once so far, but I would keep harassing this Moira, right? Same concept as ball. You really want to be denying the resources from enemies pretty much all the time. See, now you're like in a bad spot. You don't want to be in the middle of the point, generally speaking, right? You're just eating literally all the damage on their team. And yeah, you just died. That's partially because you messed up your roll, your grapple. Partially because you're kind of wasting time going for the Ashe, right? Kind of puts you in a bad spot. I think it's okay to be waiting here because you have to wait for your team to walk up. I will say that. You don't want to go in too early. I'm not quite sure why you didn't continue to fireball, right? Roll around the point a bit and shoot the Moira afterwards, right? You could like scoop her and slam her or something like that, force her fade and shoot her afterwards, right? You have options. I feel like you haven't been using your fireball to like boop or reposition people or just do damage enough, right? Kind of cooldown efficiency thing. I will say if Mercy's in Valk, I wouldn't waste time shooting her, generally speaking, because she's so hard to hit if her movement's at least decent, right? This Mercy's movement isn't very good. So you got away with it earlier a few times. I think here, largely, if you played the beginning of the fight a bit better, right? I think after you made the mistake of trying to waste time on the Mercy, right? You kind of played it as well as you could, so that's okay.
Ready for battle.
I won't spend too much time on this because I think you said you were a little tilted, but that's okay. Again, I guess the pharmacy gets pinged. Don't waste time going for them, right? Especially as Doomfist, there's like no way you ever kill them. Ironically, I think you accidentally or like force the Pharah to suicide, so it works this time. But like, yeah, you can see these players actually aren't very good. They don't look like they're particularly familiar with pharmacy. So somehow she dies. That's okay. We'll take those, but You know, wait, no time to be wasting, right? Right? You have your cooldowns, you're up 2. Go in immediately, right? Just jump or slam in, and then start looking for a punch into a wall and just these like slightly slow reactions is really gonna, you know, it's lost you a few fights before, right? It's a waste of time to be shooting this Ashe here because you have no way of like actually killing her, right? She has to stand still for you to kill her. Go look for a better target. For example, the people in this building or this Moira, right? Just slam in, ignore the or annoy the baby diva. You can kill her for free pretty much. Like Doom does a lot of burst damage if you punch someone into a wall. So you have no reason really to be playing this scared. This is one thing, when they have the baby diva, right? You know, they don't really have a good way of killing you without the diva alive as Doomfist, and because they don't know Zen anymore, right? You really shouldn't generally be dying as long as you don't like completely mess up your cooldowns. You could definitely greed this a bit more. What you should have done is set up on high ground and wait for the baby to peek like this and just slam on her, right? Or you could drop down punch her, right? You have options. You shouldn't really. You have like a way to carry this fight. Well, they don't have to diva. It's not the end of the world, but you've definitely gotten more out of that, right? Again, you know, ignore the pharmacy. You see, you can't punch vertically unless they're really bad. I mean, they made the mistake of letting you punch them earlier, but you know, I would never fly on that. As they're flying in, what you really should be doing is causing chaos to everyone else that's walking through the choke, right? Just especially this Moira, just completely annoying the Moira, right? In particular, because by allowing these people to take all your attention, you let everyone walk through the choke.
The odds are against us.
Get these jokers off my point.
So yeah, unfortunately that's game. Okay, so right. I hope this helps. I'll reiterate. I think, you know, two things you have to work on in particular, kind of your uptime and your cooldown in particular efficiency, right? And again, it's kind of like making sure you're always at least trying to look for opportunities to make the fight turn in your favor and getting the most out of your cooldowns. I hope this helps.